Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Fortnite skins series that I have here. These short little 10-minute, 8 to 12-minute videos that I have put together so I can talk about these skins. I goofed on the end of the last video, and I talked about episode 8 being the end of episode 9. Whatever. We all know what's going on. We all know what's happening. But I did want to talk about this skin in particular. The Saw one, Billy. why do I have the Billy skin? Why does it have value to me? Well, first of all, the Saw series started back when I was a kid, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was not the biggest fan of Saw as a kid or growing up or even today. But the one thing about the Saw series that resonates with me in regards to the overall aspect of when they released this for Fortnitemares this past year was not because it was a cool skin and it's really good. The emote for this skin is incredible. The bicycle, the the overall aesthetics of it are incredible. The fear factor of it, I mean, it's just terrifying looking at right now. I mean, look at how terrifying that thing is. Let me just look at it. The thing is insanely terrifying. The back bling is elite. I mean, if you look at the back bling, it's absolutely incredible. This thing has its own, like, way of life. I mean, it does stuff. Look at that. How amazing is that? The trap TV, the Fortnitemares event where you had to face this guy, it was absolutely terrifying. Because he was really good. And the other aspect of getting this skin that really resonated with me on why I felt like it was something that needed to be in my arsenal regarding a skin was the fact that it's multi-purposed. Well, how could this skin be multi-purposed? How could you utilize this skin in multiple facets to make it appeal to something different other than just being a Halloween thing? Well, ironically, if you actually look at the whole outfit, kit and caboodle of this skin, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but let's just be 100% honest. Doesn't it kind of look like Michael Jackson? Like, let's break it down. It's got the gloves. It's got red shoes. It's got the tux that Michael would rock all the time when he was at major concerts. The thin and skinny slacks that are a little bit high wire because every time he would dance, he got the high wire going. He'd do the moonwalk. You'd see his socks coming up. Obviously, the gloves, the bow tie. Michael would rock the bow tie from time to time, and then obviously you got the hair. And don't forget to mention that really white paley skin near the end of his life. I mean, let's just be real. It kind of looks like Michael Jackson. And if you combine certain back blings, like a galaxy back bling, like with him, or even a pink one, doesn't look like it could be Michael Jackson. I mean, you start mixing stuff. It's like, oh, that's Michael Jackson. Like that's where you can get creative and you can start making up your own things, right? And so my thing is if I ever want to use this skin for the combinations with the emotes and the abilities to make things happen, I can look at it and then, like, for example, look at the not the Gwenpool katanas. Where's the Andromeda ones? Here they are. Look at this. The Star Forged blades, the Galaxy stuff for the Galaxy stuff for the Billy skin. It's almost like you got Michael Jackson. And I guarantee you, watch, if I put the shoes on him, can I put the shoes on him? Oh, I can't put the shoes on him yet. But the day you'll be able to put kicks on him, it's going to even look more like Michael Jackson. So I have my own loadout with him that is basically a Michael Jackson loadout. Like, if I go into it right now, it should be here. Here it is. Halloween 2. Well, this one's him. But I set one up a while back where it was legit. It was legit Billy. And it looked like Michael Jackson. It was hilarious. Like, the back bling was the was the katanas, the galaxy katanas. It was pretty incredible, and I was proud of myself. So that's what resonated with me when I got this skin, was the multiple usage rate again on using it. Not gonna lie, he's actually a relatively dainty skin. So also when you start getting hot and you start getting kills and all that stuff, like, it's a reactive skin, so things can happen to him that change. Same with the back bling, it changes from when you do stuff, like when you kill people or you get to go on streaks or whatever. So he's a little bit smaller than a normal skin. He is actually really hard to see. He's actually a really, really, really hard skin to see if you're going to utilize him in major battles. So, for example, like, if you're actually going to play ranked, not a bad skin to use. And honestly, right now, with it being like still like in the wintertime, not a bad skin to use, because the face is white and it might stick in, especially if you're in a spot where there's shadows and snow. This might actually not be a bad skin to use. So, like, that was my other purposes, was because it is a darker skin, it is a smaller skin, it is a lower stature skin. There's some value to using him in times of when, like, you want to just change it up and look different. Or, like, if you're in a squad and everybody's wearing a Billy skin, like, everybody was wearing the Billy skin when they bought it when it came out, because it is a sick skin. It's really detailed. It's really, really well done. And it's terrifying. But when you have a squad of Billies, like, I'm not going to lie, it's hard to recognize who has what and what's doing what, right? Especially once you get medallions, because there's things that the Billy skin does, again, like I said, that change just ever so slightly. And if you have different versions of, like, if you have different people wearing the skin in your squad and they're using different guns, it would be hard to point out who is what and who is who. So, for example, like, when people in Fortnite were playing with the Billy skin, and you had like 3 people in a squad, or a trio, or in a squad, and they all had a Billy skin, you couldn't pinpoint who was who, because you couldn't tell who was wearing what for, and who was shooting what. You couldn't point it out. I mean, it's the same thing with any other skin. You can say the same thing about every other skin, right? But I feel like the hard part about the Billy skin is that for some reason, when you're playing with him, it almost feels like it's translucent. So, like, when you're in the middle of a battle, right, those quick epic moments where it's a good, like, 3 to 5 seconds of, like, split-second decisions on, like, okay, running, battling, how do you talk, how do you communicate to your team on where to go, etc. When there's a team of Billies, it is for some reason a lot harder to identify whom, compared to when you have a team full of whatever else. Like, if they're all wearing the same thing, it just feels like it's harder to identify. It feels like it's harder to see. When they have certain guns in their hands, you can almost not tell what they have. Not to say that you can't tell, you can tell already, but if you all move in a similar facet, it's a lot harder to see what the Billy is doing. That was my interpretation during Fortnite when this skin came out, because when I was playing before I bought Billy, I was like, who the heck's going to buy that skin? And when I started playing in trios, or playing in squads or duos not so much, but trios and squads, I started to realize, I was like, oh, this is why this skin can be valuable, because it does kind of feel like a transparent skin, translucent skin, in regards to the options to change it up, see, and kind of blend in. Okay, I know when the skin first came out, everybody was buying it, so all the bots and all the people and all the things had the skin, and so they use it, and you couldn't tell, right? The difference, though, is that even now, when you're playing and you see somebody have this skin in particular, it becomes something of, like, not because it's scary looking, but because legitimately it is a little bit more of a dainty skin. He is thin. His hit spots are hard to see. Yes, he's got a little bit of a bigger head with the hair and all that stuff, but he's actually pretty difficult to see. Because if you look at his body style, everything is thin. The shoulders are thin. The head style is actually pretty normal compared to other head styles. And he is a little bit smaller. Like, he looks normal, but for some reason when he's running around, he looks smaller. And that can be valuable in dark places. That can be valuable when you're running across the map. in dark areas. It can be helpful, like right now with the wintertime with his white head and his white gloves. There can be some change up there. So like, and in trios and in squads, if you're all wearing the same skin with the billies, it's really, really difficult to identify. I had troubles with it. Like I was in trios and squads, and I was having so many issues identifying Billy. Oh, like, okay, the Billy over here and this Billy over here and that Billy over here, who's what and where's what. It became so hard. Again, that can be a thing for all the skins, but with Billy in particular, it became incredibly frustrating. And that's where I was like, I got to get this skin. It can be multi-purpose, it can be all this other stuff, and I've got to get it and put it in my arsenal so that when the next Halloween comes around and a lot of people who are going to have this skin are going to use it again, that's where the confusion and the difficulty is going to be. Okay, episode 9 is in the books. We'll be in episode 10 for the next one. And I'm excited about episode 10. Have a good one.